What are you worried about? Now I'm going to try to identify some of your worries, but more than that, I want to ask you to stand up, to witness, to testify by standing up when I nail your worry. And my guess is we'll all be standing at the end of this. Are you worried about worship attendance? Go ahead, I just stood up. Are you worried about your Sunday school class or your group, whether or not it's going to be as vital as it once was? Are you worried about our ministries and outreach, whether we're going to be able to serve the children and the youth and the young adults and the older adults and all the rest of us as we used to? Go right ahead. Are you worried about people not joining the church and the church not growing and maybe even declining? Are you worried about our finances? Being able to support the campuses that we have and being able to do all the things that makes Lover's Lane, this church that's known by our others' orientation. Are you worried about that? Okay, I'm through. You can sit down. Now let me quote one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. It hung in our kitchen when I was growing up. It was the Living Bible version of Philippians 4:8. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God your needs and don't forget to thank Him for His answers. Boom. Mic drop. I love that text. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God your needs and don't forget to thank Him for His answers. You know what I want to do in concluding this? I want us to dream about being a Tabitha church. A church full of women and men committed to being core disciples. You know, every member of Lover's Lane, we would want every member to be a core disciple. Now we're talking about these 5 values: worship, learn, engage, share, give. We'd want everyone committed to those. Every day there'd be something, every week, every month, throughout the year after year, commitment. And if you're not a member of Lover's Lane yet, I want you to know we want you here. We need you here. But we don't want you here to sit on the bench. We have enough bench support. We want you to be in the game. And fully engaged in the ministry and outreach of this church. It benefits us nothing to just have more people on the rolls, unless they're core disciples. Friends, the core leadership of this church may be shifting a bit. Some people are gone. And it serves no good purpose for us to worry about whether or not they're coming back. Oh, I'm not saying that we shouldn't reach out in love and encourage, but I want to tell you what Bishop Rhymes Moncure told me. I've told you before, but I want to remind you. When I was at probably the worryingest part of my life here at Lover's Lane, I called up my bishop. I was pouring out my heart to him. And he started laughing at me. And he said something I'll never forget as long as I live, till I'm laid out in the upper room. Stand, stand, stand. Lover's Lane ain't your church. Lover's Lane ain't so-and-so's church. Lover's Lane is God's church. And God's going to take care of God's church. So you go right back down there to Lover's Lane, that great church, and you do your ministry. You know, we're just now getting to know newcomers. There's several of you in the room right now. I'm looking at you. They're on every section of this sanctuary today. God's always raising up new leaders. You know, there are members of this church who are not committed to the core values. There's members in every church not committed to the core values. Some pastors even divide their church into the core and to the less core and to the less core and to the, the ones that just kind of show up every once in a while. You know, if we quit worrying about the things we can't fix and started committing ourselves to seeing how many of us would be committed to the core values of the church? What if we had 50% of our 5,000 members committed to the church? Or what if it were 60%? Oh my goodness, what would the Lord do if 75% of us were committed to those 5 core values? But we really should dream God-sized dreams, shouldn't we? We really should dream of a church where every member of the church chooses to be a core disciple and committed to those things that would make us a Tabitha kind of fellowship. In other words, we don't need to worry about this. We need to get laser focused on making core disciples and praying for God to raise us up as a church of Tabithas.